Good morning, moms in real estate. We are so excited. I'm with my partner, of course, Kristen Cantrell, and one of our business partners is also with us, Tara. If you don't know Tara, she is the CEO of the Real Estate Edit, which is a marketing company for women in real estate. And she is also a good friend of ours. We've been collaborating, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. And that has been exciting. But the reason we are here today is because marketing meetups are back, and we couldn't be more excited. So if you don't know what marketing meetups are once a month where we go live. We invite you into the Zoom room, wherever we're at. You can ask those questions live. And as you know, people that are in the trenches right now, we're talking about the marketing that's working, the branding that's working, the listings are sitting longer. How are we leveraging that? We talk about all things real estate that you need. And this is also your opportunity to tap in and get real live answers. And Tara is going to host these. Hopefully Kristen will make lots of them with us. But for sure, Tara and I will be on these every single second Tuesday of the month at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So from here on out, mark your calendars. You're not going to want to miss this marketing meetup. So hello, ladies.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you both?
Good. I'm really excited. I can't wait to talk about all the things and what we're going to be doing moving forward. It's going to be so great.
I know.
Yes,
I'm so excited too.
And I'm excited too. And what we're going to do moving forward is, we'll kind of have maybe a little bit more of a topic, and then we'll ask people to submit questions before. We do have a good handful of people in here. And so, yes, I love, yes, Ashley, in the right place. I love that you guys are in here. And so go ahead and you can start dropping in questions if you do have those. But today we just kind of wanted to share a little bit about like what to expect and us. And also Kristen brought up a good point right before we went live. If you don't know, we recently announced a collaboration. So between Tara's group and our group, we have over 100,000 women in real estate. I think it's like 120,000, just wild. And we have obviously all three built very successful collaborative and independent businesses that are inside of real estate. And so we are coming together with all of our marketing knowledge, our branding knowledge, and we just want to pour that in. And so Moms in Real Estate, as well as Women's in Real Estate, which is Tara's community, are two communities that exist to help the women in real estate to thrive, right? And so what are you guys most excited about with the marketing meetups?
Well, I'm excited because I feel like no matter what, in all the communities that I've led over the years, marketing is always the biggest challenge. And so I think that having this as a consistent on our calendar, again, will really help all the girls in our group.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this. And I am such a geek for all things marketing, all things personal branding. And
look at your face right now.
because we know this is a struggle, right? It's a struggle for women in this space. And it's always a question. We're always learning. We're always adapting. In fact, I actually just wrapped up the 2026 real estate marketing trend report. It was going to be like a 5-page bonus report that I was going to put out. It is 70 pages.
I saw that and I was like, wait, Tara, you are like amazing. I'm like, how does she do all the things?
That's a lot of pages.
What prompted that? Like, what is?
I thought you were going to say 17 from 5. And I was like, dang. Then you said 70. Whoa.
Yeah. So every year I love to, around this time, this is when I start to look at my business. And I think it's a really good time for other people to look at their business too, because we're getting into the holidays and we start to get busy with all the holiday things. We like to do holiday events for our clients. We like to really just kind of put some things down, start to focus on our families. So right now is a great time to do an audit of your business and how your year went. So what I like to do is I do my own audit, right? We all have to audit our business. So I do my own audit and I look at, okay, what did I do this year that worked? What did I do this year that like didn't work and was kind of a waste of time? I was actually just talking to Kristen right before we hopped on about how like, I feel like the past few weeks I've been like flying by the seat of my pants. I've been doing things. I've been so busy, but I'm like, did any of it actually move the needle? Which I think we all get stuck in that trap. So, every year I sit down with my business and then I'm like, okay, what has to shift? What has to change? And also how is my audience changing? How is my target client changing? What habits and what things are they looking for? So then I put together a little report, or I put together either a blog post, podcast episode, what have you, to help agents figure out how they should adapt their marketing. And this year there's kind of a lot of changes. We've seen a lot of shifts because now we're 5 years past COVID, right? We're 5 years past the pandemic, which is wild to think about. But with that, we're now seeing a really big shift of like, everybody is kind of sick of like the online game, right? That's not to say that social media doesn't work or that, you know, online marketing doesn't work, but how we show up has to shift. So that's really kind of what the report is about and what it turned into. And we also talk a lot about how you can scale with all of these strategies, like whether it be building a team, what's the trend within teams, because kind of mega teams and traditional teams are kind of on their way out. We're now looking at like some really cool ways and different ways that you can build out a team that doesn't feel so team-like, that doesn't like bog you down, that actually frees you up. So I talk a lot about that in the report too. So there's just a lot of really fun things in that. And that's actually launching tomorrow. So
I can't wait to read it. So I'm working with two girls from Moms in Real Estate, and we're building out a community for female team leaders to build the right way, which is not doing a mega team, and it is doing it differently. So I love that you said that. I have to see the report.
Yeah. Amazing.
So good.
And as somebody who's just burnt everything to the ground in the last few years and completely rebuilt a completely different structure, that is exactly that. My structure now is so empowering to the agent. I literally said last week when we were doing our level 10 meeting, I was like, guys, I want to join our team. Like I feel so like adamantly convicted because our team's value is like so off the charts. I'm like, if somebody's not aligning with us, like, what are you doing? Right. But I also love everything that you just said, Tara, because, you know, every fourth quarter, and Kristen knows this, I evaluate what's missing, what's working, what's broken, and what's confusing in our business. And I had to learn, because I am, you know, I love shiny objects, and I'm like all over I'm like, ooh, look at this, look at this. So I had to learn that I could only open my business up for change in the fourth quarter, and that I had to then marry anything, whether it was a system, whether it was tool, whether it was marketing, and I had to run for it with 3 quarters. And so yesterday, and I think this is such a powerful topic, because when we think marketing, I think sometimes we just think like posting, right? And marketing is so much more. It's the messaging, it's the brand, it's how you make people feel, it's what comes to people's mind. I mean, it's so much more. And to your point, Tara, it is, branding of a real estate agent today is not what it was in 2025, right? It's so different. And I was literally yesterday, I wrote this out for my personal production, because I run a micro team inside of my team, right? And a new era, connection over crowds. And so I wrote a message to my team and I said, hey guys, we're going to be doing a brand pivot, and we're going to be going from big gatherings to meaningful moments. And so after 8+ years of hosting a Harvest Bash and a Cookies with Santa, where we have hundreds of clients come and we rent these venues out and we do huge toy drives, and I love them all. Like, I love them all. But I had to ask myself, where's my business? Where are my people? As my business has grown and that has become 2, 3, 4, 500 past clients, the connection has just plummeted, right? Like, I don't even get to say hi to people because the event's so big. And my meaningful moments have dropped. I'm sure their meaningful moments have dropped. And then also, like, I don't necessarily, even though at this point they're pretty freaking systemized, so I can run them almost in my sleep, but I'm also like, that's just not what makes me happy. And I think that's a question that we're missing as real estate agents. Like, what are you doing in your business that is life-giving, that you want to do, versus you're doing it because you see other agents doing it, or you see it because of this and that, right? And for me, the last 2 or 3 years, if I'm being honest, ladies, I probably kept running those events because what I used to do that set me apart became industry norm. And it was like, oh, I got to keep doing this because now it's the industry norm, but it no longer set me on fire the same way. So I'm like literally changing it. I'm going to bring everybody to my house. So bringing it home is kind of like the whole method. And like, I'm literally going to bring them to my house, but it's going to be like, hey guys, I've got 20 slots. I want to do Twilight mini photos at my house. I'm going to set this whole scene up for you. Anyways, I'm just so excited. So I love that you brought this up, because I think that's such a powerful thing. Like, Yes, look at your CRM. Yes, look at where you're getting your, your content for posting. Yes, look at all that stuff. But really, this is also so important, right, Tara?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's such a good, I mean, it's so timely that we're talking about it like right now, because like I said, I feel so convicted that like right now is when you need to be looking at your business. If you are waiting until January, it's too late. It is too late, because at that point in time, you're going to run into that same thing of like, we all fall victim to the idea of just going, because we're like, okay, we gotta, so if you're waiting too long, you're going to be behind. So just make sure that you are taking a look at your business, taking a look at what you want it to look like. I love the fact that you're talking about how you are kind of just scaling back now, because I think for so long it was reach more, get bigger. And now it's kind of like, okay, we want micro, we want more relationship based, and that's really what people are craving right now. So if you are someone that is sitting down, you're thinking about how can I connect with people either online, digitally, or in person, definitely think micro. Think, how can I make the most impact? Instead of going wider, go further.
Yeah, I love that. It's definitely the way to go with your client events. And it's funny because like literally after this call, I have an audit with my coaching program, and they're auditing our coaching program. So I would encourage you, if you're doing your audit in Q4, like sometimes we don't even see like in our own business, like what we need. So bring in some other eyeballs. And like, I don't know how you do that with like your real estate clients, but I would think through, I'm sure there's plenty of ways to do it, but that you want their experience and their opinions to come through.
So spot on, Kristen. And I just had an aha in my business a couple of weeks ago, because I have a client who, as you guys all know, I run the mob, right? So the mob is my past clients, my advocates. These are like my top tier people where over 90% of my business comes from. And one of my VIPs, if you will, inside the mob, who is amazing. I've had a tenured friendship. We've had like years and years of relationship. I've got to serve her family, her multiple times, all the things. And so she's a repeat client. And she called me and she was like, hey, we want to list our house. So we got to talking, and she says to me, hey, Randi, just so you know, I've become friends with some like really, good agents. And she says the agent's name, and I know exactly who it is. And she's like, I've met this person and we do tons of events together, blah, blah, blah. But I want you to know, I always come back to you because of your skill and your professionalism. Like, you're so good at what you do. And it kind of, which I was so thankful, right? Of course, humbled, honored, all those things, right? But it kind of stopped me in my tracks, because here's a confession moment. Over the years, when it comes to that relationship, I have showed up more in the fluffy stuff. I've showed up more especially because what was happening in the industry, like making sure she got the invite. And she's always come, don't get me wrong. Like, we've enjoyed it. Her kids, I've watched all, 2 sets of her kids grow. But she's always the one I make sure that gets the phone call to the event, or I'm like, oh, are you coming? And I always make sure that, but I'm like, man, what she values is my skill. Like, where was the front loading of like the good information, of the empowering information? Like, I could be doing that better. And this is where it's so important to understand what your people want, because what she was saying, I'm not saying she doesn't love those things. She probably does love them. She comes to all of them. But what she was saying is she values like my skill and my expertise. And so I probably could be somewhere informing my clients consistently that would give perhaps even more value than just like continually loving on them. And I don't know about any other agents watching this, but I got to the point where it was like, oh, it's coffee day. I got to do something for coffee day. Okay, it's this. I got to do something. And I'm like, my goodness, I need to be my own client. Like, it's nonstop give, give, give. And we have some agents in the moms in real estate community, Tara, that are like, absolutely. We have one agent, Rachel, who's like, absolutely not. I refuse to even gift my clients because that's not what I bring to the table. Like, skill is what I bring to the table. So I just think, Kristen, the point you just made of like, are we asking our clients? And that's what kind of made me pause and evaluate, like, hey, if they love my skill and they love this, then like I can scale this way back. And I can say, hey guys, I'd love to spend time with you and create this opportunity. All the hand raisers, come and join me. And everybody else, like, what can I do for you? Like, what information would you like to see? Right? Like, get into, if you're, this is the season to have the conversation and leverage. The conversation is what's powerful, not the actual event. Right?
Yeah. 100%. Well, and I think it's really interesting too, because I'm thinking about how when we are talking with our clients, we tend to where am I going with this, Tara? Like we tend to do what we think is going to be the most exciting and get the most talk. And at the end of the day, like you said, what is it that they actually
Right.
want? And it's kind of one of those things, give them what they, what is it? Give them what they want, but actually you're giving them what they need too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like trying to like find that balance. And I have fallen victim to this so many times because listen, I'm always like bigger, more, better, more excited. It's gonna be great, right? Like, and I fall, the summit's a great example of that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have 20 speakers. I'm gonna have 30 speakers this year. Well, 35 speakers. I had 50 speakers last year. I'm like, I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to make it better. At the end of the day, the one that had like 25 super engaged, excited speakers was like my best summit. I had the most people ever. Bigger does not always mean better. And at the end of the day, they're like, that was way too overwhelming. That was a little much, Tara. And I mean, they all said it from a place of love. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I was over here thinking that's what you guys wanted. You wanted like the fireworks. You wanted the fanfare. You wanted all the things. No, we just wanted honest conversation with experts, and we wanted to learn. Like it is literally that simple. And I know that we spend a lot of time talking about relationship building because obviously that is the pivotal piece to our business, right? Like is building relationships. But I think sometimes we try so hard not to talk about real estate that we forget to talk about real estate because we're so busy like creating those relationships and making friends with our clients. And here's the reality. Some people like, I don't want more friends. I want somebody that knows how to do their job and can do it well. And again, knowing your clients and knowing who those people are and what they want is going to be so, so important. So
yeah, that's so good. So Ashley has a question for us. What's your best lead gen strategies to use in Q4 to scale your business in Q1? Q1 is always her toughest year. Yeah, sister, I feel that. Tara, do you have anything you want to share first?
Yeah. So I, first of all, like this is the coziest time of year, right? And this is, it's kind of twofold for me. It's when I like to focus on building relationships with my clients, right? Because this is really the relationship period because everybody is thinking about family and friends and all the good things, right? And you get to do all the fall activities and then the winter activities. So the first thing is I really focus on events during this period. It's a great time for events. So that is the first thing that I do. And that kind of helps carry over. But the second thing I do is, again, this is when I'm auditing my business. And this is when I'm starting to look at what my online lead gen looks like. Because Randi just said, I burned everything to the ground and I'm starting it over. And that's kind of what I do in my fourth quarter is I look at what's not working in my funnels, what's converting, what's not. And I get that all ready for the new year because the thing about your online lead gen is it's a snowball effect, right? So you got to start the momentum and then it's going to start like, building more and more and more momentum as it goes on. So now while you're not super busy with clients and you're kind of focusing on relationship things, you can be in the back end working on like your digital marketing ideas for the year. Because the cool thing about digital marketing is if you do it right, you set it up and then it runs itself for you for the whole year. And Randi, you made a really good point. I love the idea of, whatever you decide to marry for the year, you're stuck with it and you can't just be shifting things around. That's not to say you're not auditing it every once in a while, but you're like you're staying true to it because as real estate agents, one of our biggest issues is that we have squirrel syndrome. We all do it. There's a shiny object that's being sold to us as like the next great thing. So I encourage you to figure out what you want to do, what that looks like, and be setting up your marketing in the background that's going to be your automated piece online.
Yeah, so good. Ashley, I would also say, your next deal is in your database, right? And so one of the most powerful things that we can do is actually get in and work our database and find out who in there, needs to be served well. One of the things that I'm doing this year is because, again, super relationship-based business. I don't really, leverage AI. I don't do a lot of tech stuff back on the back end. But this year I did decide, hey, it adds up year over year. There's just different people sitting in there that are not getting anything. And so now I'm kind of trying to awaken those. And kind of to Tara's point, yes, absolutely. You're going to marry things, but also you need to evaluate, where did your business come from? So one of the biggest disconnect that real estate agents have is that I always say, okay, tell me your top 3 pillars of business. And then they'll tell me them. And then I say, okay, tell me your top 3 closing sources. Like, where did you close deals from? And they don't line up. And I'm like, wait a minute, your entire business plan is to go all in on social media. And like, you're going to show up and you're going to do this. And I'm not to say that there isn't a season to add a new source. I'm not saying that. You got to commit to it. You got to build it out if you want a new source, right? But then you have you're not going deep on, you got 8 closings from one particular area and you have no plan around it and you're not going deep. So another thing, if you want a successful first quarter, is you need to evaluate what your entire year looked like. And you need to understand where your actual closings came from, not where your opportunities came from, right? That's another thing. People say, well, I got 132 leads from X source, or I got 15 leads from X source. That's great. How many closings did you get, right? Because we want to know where you're converting the business, not where you're just getting more work. There's a difference between more work and closings, right? And so I think it's really important. I would say, Ashley, in addition to what Tara said, because you want to identify those pillars that you want to go at least 5 layers deep in going into the next year, but evaluate where your business came from and ask yourself, is this something that I want to continue to do? It's working, or is this completely, against what I want to do this year and I want to burn this down, or whatever it is. And then intentionally get into that database. My agents on my team is Faithful Living. And the thing that they're working on in their 4th quarter is their Faithful 50. So here is why I made the pivot. And every business is going to look different, but mine had scaled so big that I had to pivot from big events to micro. And one of the reasons I did is because at the end of the day, any business can thrive like there's nobody's business if you have 50 advocates. And the difference between an advocate and somebody that will just refer you is that they would actually inject themselves into the conversation. So I don't want you to think of okay, well, who would recommend me if somebody asked them for an agent? I want you to think about who's at dinner and over here's the table next to them talking about real estate and says, I'm so sorry. I was totally ear hustling your conversation. I hate to jump in, but if you're looking for an agent, I have got to tell you about my friend Casey. You have to talk to her, right? Listen, even if you only have 5 advocates, if you start being intentional and showing up in those 5 advocates' life, it's going to transform your business. But I would say in the 4th quarter, start identifying who is going to be your 50 VIPs. How are you going to love on them? Set a coffee with every single one of them in the 4th quarter and go to coffee or lunch with them and find out how you can support them in their life. Find out all the things that they have coming on and get ready to love the heck out of them and to champion them, because those are the people you want to do life with. And I promise you, by even Q1, you're going to start to see the benefits from that.
Yeah, what you guys just said, and I think, again, it just echoes why we don't wait until December, January to do this. And here we are, October 14th, and all 3 of us are we're auditing our business, because when you're in it and you're looking at that, you're not going to be oh, I'm taking off the whole month of December. You've got to be okay, I'm very aware of where I need to be working, and you're implementing systems and a plan around it, like they're saying. So
guys, I'm just so excited. Not only do we have all the ladies that are tuning in, all the live streams have great numbers. We have a good amount in the room. But just getting to talk to you guys, I'm so excited because Moms in Real Estate, we are your connectors. We are your one-stop connection shop for all the things that you as women need in real estate. But it's not too often where Kristen and I get to just have these tactical conversations. And this is just lighting me up to know that every single month we're going to get to come here and dive into all this stuff is exciting. So on average, these will be about 30 minutes, give or take. They might be a little bit less, but always plan for about 30 minutes. So we still have a couple minutes. Is there anything we want to share? If there's any more questions, drop them in the chat and we can answer those. But ladies, is there anything else that you want to share for this meetup?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about, of course, I'll talk.
I'll go on and on.
No problem talking when it comes to marketing. But listen, no, we've talked about a lot of different things, and I want to point you to a resource that it literally was not planned this way. It just happened. But that 70-page report that I was talking about that's coming out tomorrow, the 2026 real estate marketing trend report, that is going to be a free bonus with my ultimate real estate planner that drops is a digital planner. But the cool thing about the digital planner is I actually have a built-in bonus at the very beginning that gives you a 2025 audit workbook. So you can actually audit your entire business, everything that we talked about. Like, you're going to be able to go through and just, it kind of gives you like prompts to think through and things that you're going to want to like think about when it comes to what worked this year. Randi, like, so perfect when she was talking about, you know, what worked this year, what didn't work this year, what can we throw away, what can we keep, and then it's going to really just help you figure out what that next move for you is going to be, and then you can start planning it out. So it just so happens that that's all coming out tomorrow, so I wanted to let you guys know about that, and if it's okay, I will go ahead and post that in the group tomorrow when it's available. But that audit is going to be such a game changer, because I know we get stuck in our own head so many times when it comes to marketing. So
yeah, 100%. And I agree, Stevie. All the goods that Tara brings are so good. And we will wrap actually talking about a collaboration that we did with Moms in Real Estate and Tara. But real quick, I do want to answer a couple more questions that came in. So real quick, Monica is asking the most effective verbiage when initiating contact with our SOI and our database, and that you haven't engaged with, and knowing that you haven't conversed with them in a long time, right? So here's two folds. Number one, authenticity. Like, authenticity is nothing is going to, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've got some good like 1-2 hooks and jabs and things that are in my toolbox that help me to say things a certain way. And if you're looking for, you know, how to be better spoken, Mindy Jones is one of our partners, and she does exactly what to say. And I mean, the woman can just rattle words off and make any conversation amazing. So I would highly suggest that. But I will tell you, you don't have to be overly polished. What you have to be is authentic. And I have more than once in my career made a phone call and said, hey guys, I'm giving you a call because like I'm feeling some conviction. Now, I realize that like I've done a horrible job following up with you. I've done a horrible job staying in contact. Or, you don't even have to you don't even have to acknowledge what you have or haven't done. You could just say, hey guys, it's on my heart that I want to do a better job. I want to continue to serve my clients at a higher level. One of the things in evaluating my business in the fourth quarter, one of the biggest things that stood out to me that I'm not happy with is that after the close, I lose the relationship. I loved being in the mud with you. I love showing you homes and talking to you and knowing about your life. And I hate that after the closing, I don't have that anymore. So, this is where you could say something like that. And then this is where it gets exciting. And you could say, so I'm trying to figure out how the heck to do that. How would you love to, like, what would be the best way? Like, is it a newsletter? Is it me actually just calling you like once a quarter? Is it like having micro events? Like, talk to them. Do you know the power, even when you're changing up something as simple as a logo, changing branding, doing anything? Do you know the power of, I would love your opinion. Mm-hmm. Hey, can you check this out for me? Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? Right? So I would do that. And then number two, I always ask for the referral, right? I ask for the referral. And I'm always honest and transparent, and just really like, I always say, listen, guys, what, and that's going to look a dozen different ways. I think you, number one, need to read the conversation, Monica. If it's awkward and they're kind of like, yeah, like, it's just not feeling like, probably not worth asking for it. Right. But if the conversation's going really well and you're having good laughs and you're like, reconnecting, I think that's when you could say, also, I just want you to know, this year, it's really my goal to serve X, and you should know who you want to serve, or you should have it tied to like a mission or a specific. It's my goal to help 20 people to, buy their first home, or it's my goal to help 20 families move up, or whatever it is. I would really love if I could count on you to be an advocate. Do you by chance know anybody looking to buy or sell? Like, also tie it back to why is it important to get advocacy from them? Hey, listen, if I could work with 20 more Mark and Marys, my heart would be exploding. Like, you are my ideal avatar. I love working with you, and I just want 20 more of you. So I want to get all the referrals from you. Like, right? Like, when you start to make connections for them, you got to remember this. What you don't want to do is say, hey, when you're thinking about buying or selling, when you hear somebody think about buying or selling, will you think of me? That is so vague. That is not memorable. That is not easy for them. You've got to help them to know, like, oh, you need, like, for me, escaping the suburbs. Like, people are like, oh, you don't like your HOA, you got to talk to Randi. Oh my goodness. You want to play in the mud all day? Like, you got to talk to Randi. Like, you got to get them excited so they understand that. Okay, Monica. So I think that is going to be huge for you. And then Lena, real quick, we're going to be respectful of everybody's time. So we'll wrap up here shortly, but super tight on money. Open houses is one of those that you can go all in on. Open houses, and then events and leveraging other people's events. So when I was first starting up my business and I was first building my business, I became the champion of other people's causes. Who is out there that's doing something, that's doing a food drive or doing organizing something in the community that is spread thin and could use a right hand? Like, again, there's nothing that's going to give you an ROI in your business like serving. Even beyond the financial ROI, it's going to fill your heart. Like, find the people that have gaps that are already doing something and show up and be their support. And that is going to be a tremendous outlet for you. So I would say open houses are something that you can go all in on. Don't just do open houses. Have a pre-open house system, a system for the day of the open house, and a post-open house system. Leverage the entire thing, okay? Most of my deals didn't come from the open. It came from the prep work before the open. That's another day, another topic. I would say opens are good. I would say community involvement are good. And then be an inviter to micro events that are already happening. This week in my town, it was like Italian Fest. I could have called one or two people and said like, hey, do you want to go with me to Italian Fest? Bring people into the fold of your life, because your life's going to move forward regardless. So bring people into that fold, and then it doesn't increase the income, right? Okay, good. So it looks like this is all good stuff for everybody. Stevie, love that you are on here. Stevie has some amazing branding that I joke it with Tara and Kristen. I'm like, I saw Stevie's branding online, and then I jumped in her DMs, and I think she was like, who is this lady?
Is this the Beehive one? Yes.
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with all the branding. So if you're one of the many people that I jump in your DMs and I overwhelm you,
watch out when Randi jumps in your DMs.
Kristen did it. It resulted in a great business. So I don't know. Christy's dropping in some tidbits. So love Christy out of Houston. She also helps. So she's just talking about some things that you can do with new communities, developers, and sales agents. Yes. Okay, guys, it looks like we could probably stay here for quite a bit longer, but we're going to wrap up on time. Tara, do you want to tell them a little bit about our collaboration and what it means for them?
Of course I do. So I don't need you to ask me twice, but yeah. So as they mentioned, I am the founder of the Real Estate Edit, which is an online marketing community for women in the real estate space. And as we were going through, one of the things that I realized we were all missing was a hub, a command center, a space for the way that we work and the way that we think, and that can do all the things that we wanted to do, like host your database, handle your transactions, keep track of all of your leads, do your marketing for you, keep everything seamless, nice and tight, right? So I built it. I decided that I was going to go wild, and I built something called the Suite. And the Suite is just that. It is your all-in-one command, marketing, and CRM. And it was created specifically for you, women in the real estate space. And upon hearing of this, Randi was like, okay, Tara, wait, hold on. I got an idea. And I was like, this is genius. So what we've decided to do is we have bundled together the Suite, which is the CRM, with the Moms in Real Estate Referral Directory, which is a mastermind and referral directory that is incredible. And so when you purchase your annual the annual option for the Suite, meaning you get it for the entire year, everything kind of done for you. You also get access to the Moms in Real Estate Mastermind and Referral Directory, and I'll let you guys talk a little bit more about what that is and what that looks like.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is so important is that when you're building an agent to agent business, that you're able to edify one another. And so like I was a Remax agent, or we've all done really good at online relationships, and we all had the thread where it's like, dang, this is the popular girl, right? And so we know what that's like. And something that I think just cannot be duplicated is true edification, right? Again, it goes back to that advocacy. Hey, this is why you need to go to Kristen, right? Like when you can set a client up that way, you're serving the client better, and you're also really serving the agent better. And so in our mastermind, a couple things is, number one, we're working on those agent to agent referrals, and we're working on how to intentionally create more referral opportunities. So of course, with 40,000 members, we see referral connections every single day. But we don't want to just be playing offense. Why do I even try sports analogies? I get so excited and I'm like, this one's gonna work, and then I'm like, is that what offense does? I don't know. But instead of just receiving the leads, we're also pushing our agents to like get creative, our partners like get creative. And last week, a couple weeks ago, we looked at migration patterns. We're the top 2 or 3 states that that people are moving into your state from. Get a referral partner and actually start talking about this and be the go-to person. So our mastermind's super powerful. We go deep. It's very tactical. The mastermind on its own, I will tell you, is one of the best ROIs you're ever going to see. But on top of that, you also get an SEO-driven referral profile, and a couple different things come with that. So number one, the way that I'm leveraging that, you could use that for clients. You could use that to host your reviews. I'm leveraging it for my agent to agent reviews, so that when I do get tagged in that Facebook post, along with 50 other people, I can actually drop in and say, hey, here's all of my agent reviews. Go ahead and read those. And I can send that, and I can set myself apart that way. And then also us moms in real estate, Kristen and I make an investment in staff and in community coordinators, and they are always going to honor our partners and our referral partners first. So whenever somebody's asking for somebody, we're going to always go to our referral network and we're going to search it. And then this year, we're going to be putting a lot of effort and energy into making sure that every woman in real estate knows that they can go to MIRE referral network and they can search and they can find people that are vetted. Because again, we are your one-stop shop for connection. And so our referral partners, we trust and we know they're going to take a good job, good care of your referrals. And so anyways, that's what it is. And it's wild. All of you should be in the referral network.
Yeah, amazing. I'm so excited that we're able to offer this. And so, yeah, if you want to see the suite, we actually did a demo day. And I don't know if you guys were able to pin that to the top, or it's on your Facebook page, but you guys can check out the demo day where I basically show you behind the scenes of the suite and what all that looks like. So you can kind of see what features are included, because it literally has everything. If you need it, it can replace like 10 tools is what we went through and like checked off.
Yes.
So
that was my favorite part. I was like, Tara, just tell me what I can cancel. That was like the best part.
All the things.
So yes, on our YouTube page is the demo day. You can watch that. We will, of course, along with the recording as well, drop that link in. And then we will drop our specific link, because we do have a specific link for you to sign up for the real estate edit. So we'll go ahead and drop that in. And then real quick, last question, Christy, you're coming up on the year. And so what we're doing is we're including that additional year. So if you're already a member and you are on your last 6 months, then we're just going to go ahead and give you a whole nother year of your membership is how we're going to do that. So we're all set to go. And we do have the link. I know it doesn't really pop up this way, but we'll make sure that it's clickable to make it easy for you guys. So again, mark your calendars, second Tuesday of every single month, 8 a.m. Come back, join us for the marketing meetup. And thank you guys for being part of Moms in Real Estate. We appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Bye guys.